Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. Day 3 of our pantry preparedness recipe series. Still don't have a name for it, probably doesn't need a name. If you're watching this in the future, this is March 2020, the world is undergoing a global pandemic. And a lot of people are being asked to stay inside, to self-isolate, to quarantine themselves, to stay away from public spaces. We live in Canada and almost everything is closed at this point. Places where people gather, we've been told not to gather. Canada has closed their borders. So, and the grocery stores are empty. People panic bought all kinds of food, leaving those of us who didn't get to the grocery store early enough with just what's in our pantry. There's no need to panic buy. Please don't be panic buying. The food supply is not in question. There will always be enough. So today I'm going to make a really simple pasta that uses sausage meat and a can of beans. Now, luckily, Julie and I always seem to have sausages in the freezer. It's a quick emergency meal at regular times, and thankfully we had some of this. We also had a can of beans. I don't have the pasta that I would normally use. I'm down to a little bit of orecchiette and something called Scooby-Doo. It's almost like a macaroni. So I'm just going to use up what I have. I've also got some cherry tomatoes. I'm going to throw those in, a little bit of wine, and some cheese. So a very simple recipe. So I've got a frying pan here. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of oil, and it's on medium-high heat. Once that's up to temperature, I'm going to put in the sausage meat. So I've removed the casings, put the sausage in, you fry it off, and you break it up as you go. Now, most of the flavor for this sauce is going to come from the sausage. So, if you know what the sausage tastes like, you can sort of adjust the rest of your spicing to match what's going on or to enhance what's going on. These are fairly spicy. So I'm going to add just a little bit of red pepper flake, not too much because I don't want to overpower the dish. And I think a little bit of dried rosemary would go really well on this. Of course, if you have fresh, use fresh, but if you're using what's in your pantry or your cupboard, you're just going to put in the dry stuff. Now, this is pretty much cooked down, so I'm going to put in the kidney beans. And so I'm using kidney beans, but you could use any bean, again, that you have in your cupboard. And we just want to put that in and stir it around a little bit. Now the beans are going to break down as you're cooking it. So if you mash them a little bit, that's fine because they're going to really add a nice creaminess to the sauce. Next in are some cherry tomatoes. These aren't great looking cherry tomatoes. We made this a couple weeks ago and I had some cherry tomatoes left in the fridge, so I'm just going to throw them in. You don't have to add them if you don't have them, but if you have a little can of tomatoes or some tomatoes left over, it just adds a little bit of extra to the sauce. And then I'm going to put in wine. This is white wine, so I'm not as concerned about the flavor of the wine. I really just want the acidity. Okay, so scrape up the fond on the bottom of the pan because it's going to be great. Now you just want to drive off some of the wine, burn it off, release the other flavors. If you don't have wine, you don't want to use wine for whatever reason, you could use chicken stock, you could use vegetable stock, you could just use water, and then throw in a couple tablespoons of another acid. So a really nice vinegar, a flavorful vinegar, or a little bit of lemon juice if you have lemon juice. That acidity will brighten up all of the other flavors, and that's what you want. Okay, so this is looking good. I'm just going to let that bubble away. Time for the pasta. In our cupboard today, we just had mixed pasta. So I've got some orecchiette and some Scooby-Doo. So in here, I've got boiling salted water. In goes the pasta. Okay, now we'll just let that bubble away. Okay. Sauce is looking nice. Now, I need to grate some hard cheese. We always seem to have some hard Italian cheese in the fridge. Doesn't really matter which one you use. And I just want to grate it really fine. And we're going to put that into the sauce along with the pasta and a little bit of water and emulsify it. Now, this is the point where if it was available to you, you'd put in a leafy green, either spinach or kale or Swiss chard. None available to me today, so I'm not going to do that, but I will put some peas in before the end. Now, the pasta is pretty much cooked, so we're going to put that in as I drip water all over. Okay, now we just want to mix this all together and get everything coated. Now, the plan is to use some of the pasta water and the cheese to finish up the sauce. Okay, so a little bit of cheese and a little bit of pasta water. And this is where you have to cook. I can't tell you how much pasta water. You have to sort of read the sauce, listen to it, and figure out how much more you need to put in. You just stir it in, and once that amount of cheese is in, put in the next amount. And if you need more water, put in a little more water. Okay, a little more cheese. And we'll stir that in. I'm thinking I need a little bit more water. So scoop in a little bit more water. Okay, just about done. Throw in some frozen peas and we're finished. You can put in broccoli. You can put in pretty much any green that you want. Anything that you want, really. So I'll just stir this in and we are done.
I brought
Jules.
the wine glasses.
Excellent.
Hi, friends.
So, sausage and bean pasta with mixed pasta and peas.
And since there's a little bit of wine in it, I know exactly what to pair with it.
A little bit of wine.
I kind of chinched on that one, but I'll go back. Oh, I need spoons.
Spoons or forks? Spoons. 2 spoons.
The indecision.
So, like every recipe, we come to the end.
And we say, make it
we
your
say,
own.
make it your own. So, I mean, the sausage, the flavor of the sausage, like I said earlier, drives this pasta.
Yeah, I can see how that would happen.
Right? So if you've got a good flavorful sausage, it's going to be great. And if you don't have a good flavorful sausage, if it's a mediocre sausage, you can layer in spices and herbs.
That was really good.
I mean, the beans break down to make it creamy.
Yes.
And then the cheese melts in with the pasta water and you get... I think this is a great pasta. And then whatever shaped noodle you want to use. I mean, I used what I had in the house because there's nothing else. But make it your own. I mean, you don't feel you have to follow a recipe. This is a guideline.
It's a ratio of stuff, right? You don't have white beans? I'm sure that there's a couple different other,
Couple
types
other
of
types
beans.
of beans that you can put
Navy
in.
beans, white kidney beans. There's a whole bunch of stuff you could use in instead.
And if you only have 2 sausages, up the amount of bean. I mean, it's still going to taste really good. You could probably do it without sausage and just go straight beans. 2 cans of beans, leave the sausages out completely, throw in some different spicing to replicate what would be in the sausage, and you've got a great pasta that is, at that point, vegan or vegetarian. And, it's
Vegetarian.
vegetarian.
There's cheese.
Oh, the cheese. So it would be vegetarian. Sorry.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
vegans. But it would be excellent. Thanks for stopping by. Stay safe. Hope to see you again soon.
There you go, my friend.
Glass of wine?
Yeah, I'm in.
Excellent. Okay.
Oh, really good, Glenn.
Yeah.